Alright, what's going on YouTube? Miguel here, and if you guys have been paying attention to the automotive scene recently, you already know Ford just unveiled their brand new 2024 Ford Mustang. But is it good? Is it bad? Let's find out. This is everything you need to know about the 2024 S6550 Mustang. Let's get into it. Alright, so like I said, Ford just dropped a new Mustang. They're calling it the S6550. It's supposed to come out for the 2024 model year, and the earliest we can expect it is summer 2023. This is going to be the 7th generation of the Ford Mustang. If you were like me and you were expecting a big change like the one we saw from the S197 to the S550, you're probably a little bit disappointed. So in my opinion, the S650 is just another upgrade to the S550 platform. They do have pretty similar looks. You know, let's find out what makes them a little bit different. So just like all previous generations of the Mustang, they're going to come in 3 different trim levels: the EcoBoost, the GT, and then there's one more we're going to talk about, but I'm going to save that for the very end. As far as the drivetrain for these things go, Ford is sticking with their 5-liter Coyote engine, except this one is going to be the 4th generation. So the Gen 3 Coyote had 450 horsepower. This one got a pretty respectable increase from 450. Now on the Generation 4, you can expect around 480 horsepower. You will also have 2 options for the transmission. You got a 10-speed auto. That one is staying around. If you're like me, you already drive a manual, you guys are going to be happy about this. Ford is offering a 6-speed manual on the new Mustang. So another thing, if you guys have been paying attention to what's been going around with Ford, you guys were already kind of expecting the S650. Right. I'm going to start off with the exterior. I'm doing so because this is one of the most controversial parts about this entire car. We're going to start with the front end and work our way around. When I first saw pictures of the S650 Mustang, the first thing I noticed was the grille on it. It's massive. I hate it. I don't like it. I didn't like the grille on the GT500 at first either. Personally, I thought it looked like a GTR, but it kind of grew on me. So I'm filming this video a little bit late. The S650 has been announced for about 2 weeks now. I took some time to make this video because we could have had some more information come out since then. Also, since then, I wanted to see if the new Mustang would grow on me. I don't hate the grille as much anymore. I still don't like it. I feel like it could have been smaller. Hopefully, there's some aftermarket support on that. Another thing on the front end, they switched out the headlights. So again, this is like another thing I didn't really like on the new Mustang. I took some time, it grew on me, and now I still don't know if I like them, but again, I don't hate them as much. Again, this is just my personal opinion. The new lights on the Mustang, they kind of look like the lights on the Bugatti Chiron. So another thing you might have noticed on the front end of the new Mustang is the fact that it has a built-in hood scoop. So my only hope for this hood scoop is I just hope it's functional, like that's it. So moving over to the side of the car, we talked about the controversial front end, but looking at it from the side, I think this car looks absolutely amazing. There are people out there that says it looks like a Camaro. I don't really see it, so we're not really gonna touch on that too much. All right, so moving over to the wheels, these are what Ford's factory wheels look like. In my opinion, I think these look amazing. Ford did an amazing job with these. So another thing that Ford did with this Mustang is they brought back the Brembo brakes. So another thing I also appreciate on this Mustang is the fact that Ford is actually letting us spec out our caliper colors. We've got 3 options with these: black, red, and of course grabber blue. Moving over to the back of the car, Ford did keep the tri-bar taillights on this thing. A Mustang just wouldn't be a Mustang if they didn't have the tri-bar taillights in the back. Alright, so let's move over to the interior. First generation S550 as well as the 2nd generation of the S550, they all have pretty much similar interiors. Ford completely revamped it this time. So in the automotive world, we're seeing a lot of crazy interiors as far as infotainment system goes. So this new Mustang is no exception. It's got a giant screen that basically covers half your dash. The one thing that's also different that you can do with this Mustang in your infotainment system is you can change pretty much all the modes to pretty much everything in your car. You can change your suspension feel, your exhaust sound, your steering wheel feel. In previous generations, if you put your car in sport mode, it put pretty much everything in sport mode. So with this new mode tuning, you can pick and choose what parts of the car you want to change. So let's say you want to have a little bit more rumble for your exhaust, you can change the mode on that. Everything else stays the same. And another thing that a bunch of you old heads are probably going to appreciate, or you Fox body fans, they made it to where you can change the look of your gauge to match the gauge cluster on Fox body Mustang. So me personally, I've never had a Fox body. This doesn't do much for me. What did pique my interest though is, you know, line lock is coming back, so burnouts are still super easy to do. So now a couple more things that are different. The e-brake on this thing is still a manual e-brake. I believe it is electric, don't quote me on that. So the thing with the e-brake, I did see that it is basically set up for drifting. You know, you don't really have to change much, you just really need an angle kit and you're pretty much good to go. I feel like more recently Ford is actually listening to the Mustang community as a whole, and you know, they've been paying attention to the car culture. You know, Formula Drift and then just drifting in general is a rapidly growing motorsport out here in the car community. Ford's noticed that a little bit. They actually developed this e-brake to be set up for drifting, like I said, with Mongin. Alright, so the last thing to note on this Mustang is, you know, the key fob. You know, usually key fobs, nothing really too special about them, just push start, you don't even have to get them out of your pocket. So this time Ford made it to where you can not only start the Mustang with your key fob, you can actually rev it with your key fob without even being in the car. All I'm gonna say about that, they're taking flexing to a whole new level. Car meets, car shows are going to get even more out of him. And lastly, I talked about the fact that Ford has 3 different trims for this new Mustang, the EcoBoost and the GT, but I left one out. The Dark Horse. So the Dark Horse is the GT that's been taking them to the next level. And honestly, this thing looks mean. It looks super aggressive. I don't know if it's like the fact that they tweaked the grille a little bit or what. The Dark Horse looks a lot better than the GT in my opinion. And it should, because it also performs a lot better than the GT. So the Dark Horse is bumped up from about 480 horsepower to the 500 horsepower mark. So the 500 horsepower mark is something that Mustang enthusiasts like myself have been asking for a long time. We're finally listening. So they took the connecting rods from the 760 horsepower GT 500, put them in the Dark Horse. So another thing they took from other cars, the Dark Horse is going to have the Tremec 6-speed manual transmission. So besides the 6-speed manual, I'm pretty sure it is also going to be operating at 10-speed auto. In my opinion, manuals are more fun. At 10-speed is no joke. Ford isn't taking things lightly either. If I were to race this thing, I would definitely lean over to the 10-speed auto. Speaking of racing this car, Ford not only came out with the Dark Horse, but they came out with 2 Dark Horse variants that are more track oriented. Talking about the Dark Horse S and the Dark Horse R. The S is basically a race car out the box. Ford gutted out the car, they took out all the unnecessary components, they put in a roll cage, and they also added fire suppression. You know, everything you would need in a race car. Now, the Dark Horse R variant, I couldn't find that much stuff on it. It just seems to be, you know, even more race oriented. Lastly, Ford Performance is going to have some serious involvement when it comes to the Dark Horse. They not only plan on taking this to the 24 hours of Daytona, they also plan on taking this overseas to the 24 hours of Le Mans. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. I'll keep you guys updated if there's any more stuff coming out about the S650 Mustang. I know we still have 2 years to go. I'm excited for this car. I need this car to drop now. Let's be patient. You know, let's see what Ford does. I'm really debating if I should trade in my 2016 GT for a Dark Horse. But who knows, we'll see what happens in the next 2 years. That being said, drop a like, comment down below. What do you guys think about the new S650 Mustang? What do you guys think about the Dark Horse? And of course, subscribe for more Mustang content.